When a duke and his family are butchered in their sleep, a beleaguered king commands his brother Relin to uncover not only who committed the heinous murders, but why. Was it sedition, political assassination, or is it the gruesome machinations of a blood-hungry demon goddess and her cult? Hello and welcome to Liam's Lyceum. I'm your host, Liam, aka Himbar. Today I'll be doing a spoiler-free review of Quincy J. Allen's Seeds of Dominion. Seeds of Dominion is a 2022 novel by Quincy J. Allen, and first in the Legacy of Deceit, and it is also technically the second Eldros Legacy novel to be released, which was right after Khyven the Unkillable, which I have reviewed previously. Apparently, this is also the first in a 10-book series for Legacy of Deceit, so I think it'll be quite a long ride. Now, the story is really, at least initially, is about a mystery since a duke and his family have been brutally murdered. At the beginning of the story, we have Mygal, who is investigating the crime in Svenval, and at the very start, we find him speaking with an informant, Tobin. Now, both these characters are important to the story, so it's good to pay attention. Now, Mygal himself is a heartbender, meaning he can magically sense and play with people's emotions. And then after Mygal is introduced, we get Relin, who is our main character. He has a pet companion named Zilly, who is a dragonette, which is exactly what it sounds like it is. But she's pretty cool. And he is a runecaster and a guardian for the kingdom of Pelanon, just like Mygal actually. He has relations with the king, and this awkwardness and arrogance is shown when we are introduced, as the guardians are given different assignments throughout the realm. Though there is a lot more there, since Relin is actually the king's brother, and his elder brother specifically. Relin has lots of experience, and this is not his first rodeo. We get several hints of his past exploits, and, well, it's interesting. I'd be curious to know what those exploits are, though we do get some idea of some. So anyways, I would say this definitely takes more of a step up for world building than Khyven the Unkillable. I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing. There is more magic, for sure, and definitely more of a structured type. There are also several times phrases seem pulled straight from a D&D game. Take that as you will. I know some would see that as a negative and some would see that as a positive, or just depending on what you want to read. There are, I would say here, more people that are not human than we got in, say, something like Khyven the Unkillable, which is on a different continent for those unaware. Eldros Legacy has 5 continents, and different series are on different continents. So this one is on the continent of Daemonon, which has demons and dragons and evil goddesses and yada yada, and, well, of course, giants. I imagine they play some sort of role, since giants are the big connector to all of them. And honestly, this is random kind of, but there's a nice critique of the usefulness of flaming swords in this story, which I thought was pretty funny with D&D context anyways. But the story does involve really mostly a mystery, and often when questions are answered, more are brought up. I would say the dialogue is written very well, which is always something I can get behind. And as far as like seeing the world, it is more of like a traveling story. We do get to see some of the capital of Corsia, and a good chunk of the story is in Svenval, but it goes further than that as well. While I mentioned again, while in Khyven the Unkillable we had luminants, which are like elf-like creatures, this has delvers, which are very similar to dwarves. And there are some other races, as I previously mentioned too, but I'm a big fan of dwarf-like creatures, so the delvers were really cool to see, and I was always eager when they showed up again, though they don't show up all that much, to be honest. And honestly, Allen's writing just makes me feel like he himself has life experience, not just Relin. It's very easy to read, like most modern writing, I feel. It's not particularly lovely writing, but that's not bad. In fact, in some ways, it's good. I think it's good for the story here. I think this overall, Seeds of Dominion, is a good introduction to the series of Legacy of Deceit. A good part 1, with some obvious story still to unfold, though this definitely is a good story on its own. It definitely has some questions left unanswered at the end. The epilogue and interlude that are at the end do connect it more with Khyven the Unkillable, setting up a worldwide story of sorts in the background. I don't believe every Eldros Legacy book will have these. Just for example, the 3rd Eldros Legacy book, which I've actually just finished, Deadly Fortune, does not fall into like this broader metafiction thing going on with Eldros Legacy. I think this is kind of similar to like a Dragonlance thing, where you have the main series and books written by Weiss and Hickman and maybe some other authors writing some stuff where it's connecting with those characters as well. But a lot of other stories really don't connect to those characters. They're just set in different parts of the world of Dragonlance, right? So I think that's kind of what's going on here. So this one does connect a little bit, but I think at the same time you don't need to read Kaivan the Unkillable to read this. So definitely not at all. It's definitely a separate story. And yeah, anyway, so I really enjoyed this one. Let me know if y'all are interested in reading Eldros Legacy. I will let you know. Well, I'm just trying to get you some reviews so maybe you can see where you want to jump in with this shared world that is still relatively new. It's not too intimidating, I feel like, right now to jump in. There are only 5 novels released as of recording this. For all I know, there could be a 6th by the time this comes out, because they do come out relatively quickly. But I feel like if I give you the ideas or the reviews on what is going on, essentially, of course you can go read Here There Be Giants to get an idea as well. That is free. But I will let you know, because I am almost done with the first 4 novels. I'm going through the door into winter currently. So, but this has been Leavings Lyceum. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope it was somewhat useful at least. And I did enjoy this book, so I will definitely be continuing on whenever Quincy J. Allen comes out with the sequel. I'll catch you next time.